Okay, hot takes. It's back, it's happening. We've got Obed Abbo, I'm Hasani Ade, and really just looking forward to speaking with you about your recent book release. Why don't you start by introducing yourself so that we can have some understanding of your journey thus far?
Yeah, happy to, happy
Yeah.
to. And my name is Obed Abbo, and I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs achieve their dream business. And I feel very privileged to be here, to being interviewed by Hasani. And yeah, amazing. You know, we met
Yeah.
at the gym, and
In
we
the
just
sauna.
in a sauna,
Yeah.
it's just hanging out, and then yeah, we just you know, and what I immediately saw within you is this power, this authenticity.
Oh,
And
thank you. That's
this,
really kind.
yeah, you know, and you were talking about your projects, and you were really sharing on, yeah, you wanted to make a positive impact.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
thank you for seeing that. I think what I saw in you was this real intense passion towards transformation and helping people on their journeys towards greater and greater levels of growth and purpose and authenticity as well. So really good alignment there. And you know, your book that you were speaking about to me was like, whoa, okay, this guy's been through this whole journey of writing a book. You know, you obviously have something to speak about in that respect, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you know, the title "From Fear to Courage" is very meaty, and I'd love to kind of just pick at that and you know understand what's going on there. I mean, not only the process of writing a book,
yeah.
not only the title and the content, but also what kind of hurdles you had to overcome when you know putting something that takes you know all this time and energy together. I mean, where should we start? Where should we jump in?
Well, I think, yeah, these are all big questions and great questions as well. I think a good place to start is the why.
Mm,
Why I chose to write this book.
why
Because
now?
I think it's always a very powerful question to when we do something is to ask why.
Mm,
Huh?
mm,
And why? So what I felt 2.5 years ago, I noticed while I was coaching my clients, they had big dreams and big visions.
mm,
And as they were making progress, these fears came up.
mm, mm,
And I noticed how much it was blocking them. And I noticed how much it meant for them once they could resolve their fears,
mm,
that they could make that progress.
mm,
And as a coach, my pain at the time was that I could only help people who could afford coaching, and not everybody can. And there was a frustration within me around that. And during a Toastmasters session, which is it's a workshops where we help each other with public speaking, I met a friend of mine, John Spender,
mhm.
and he had written already like 22 books,
Wow.
non-fiction books, in collaboration with other authors. And yeah, we became friends, and I felt very inspired by his stories and by his books. And then I came up with the idea to invite my friends and some of my clients to collaborate
Wow.
and create a book together where we're all sharing our stories on what fears we experienced regarding our dreams,
Yeah.
and what did we do, what strategies we put into place to overcome those fears.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. It's very
And
practical. It's a very
it's
practical
very practical,
book. It's
like
very
huge
kind of,
vulnerability. My chapters, well, when I was writing, I was like, I'm not really gonna publish this. Like it's really, I really talk about my deepest fears. But as I was writing my own chapter, which is titled Dreams Come True, I noticed if I want to inspire my fellow authors, my fellow writers to write about vulnerability and what fears they were experiencing, and I
Sure.
thought I have to do the same. So I'm still feeling shy about it, to be honest. When
Sure.
people say, I'm going to read your book, I'm like, okay, well, you know. But at the same time, I know that that's where the real power lies.
Yeah. Sure.
So the why, to answer that question, the why is to help people. And it's also, the book is also a great way that it's affordable.
Mm.
And so pretty much everybody could buy, if they want to, the book, and that gives me it's very exciting that somebody in Canada is now reading my book, for example, and somebody in Australia, because it's my first book that I put on Amazon.
Sure.
And so for me, it's a very exciting journey to be on, together with 14 other authors.
Yeah.
And we're on this journey together, and it's very exciting.
Okay, and the whole thrust of the Hot Takes platform podcast is about gathering key insights from our amazing guests about their lessons, their journeys. So it's obviously a lot here, right? But I wonder, is there something, some kind of message or learning or key takeaway that you've kind of gleaned from this process about courage, about fear, that you'd be able to share with people?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm still learning about the topic. I guess the more I studied fear and courage for 15 years, but specifically the last 2.5 years, the more I discovered about fear and courage, the more I also realized I don't know. And the things I did learn and that I'm teaching other clients, I noticed it has a positive impact, and I would love to share some of that insight. I guess what fear means to me, it's this discomfort. It's often this fear. Like there's a healthy fear, which is, for example, if I would jump off that roof, if I would stand there, I would feel scared to fall. That's a healthy fear.
Survival-based kind of.
Beautiful fear. I want to keep that.
Beautiful fear.
to survive, Or when a tiger jumps out of the jungle, there are no tigers here. But if then I would run away. So these are healthy fears.
Sure.
However, in the society today, we have a lot of. I've had a lot of fears as well. Fear of criticism from people. Fear of failure. That was a big one for me, especially 7 years ago when I started my coaching business.
Sure.
And I noticed how much it was blocking me at the time, and I felt very scared 7 years ago when I wanted to start my dream business with helping people with coaching, because I felt like, I'm too young, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough. So I was blocking myself. I was really scared to fail. And thanks to the conversation with my mentor at the time and also other people that I met on my journey, I learned to resolve those fears. And one specific tool that I find very powerful is that fear is the insight that fear is actually an energy. And what I mean with that is, like, the symptoms of fear is like a shaking, and my eyes, it's a lot of energy and a bit of, it's like projecting myself in the future.
Yeah.
And what I learned during Toastmasters with these public speaking workshops, where there was a lot of fear for me as well, to step on stage and to speak my truth and to share my message to people. And there was something I learned was to lean into excitement. And excitement, because excitement is also shaking and it's a lot of energy. So by using the breath and using visualization, where I want to go, and what it would benefit me, it helped me to transfer that into power.
So you're talking about a process of transforming fear into excitement, to then create power. So stepping out of that fear into excitement to then create power. That's powerful. And I think something that we spoke about just the other day, wasn't it? Was the idea that fear creates this kind of domain or state space, which kind of boxes a person in, right? And by moving into fear, pushing against those walls of fear, actually expands the comfort zone. So you're able to really have a greater area in which to play. And that's, I think, something that we resonated on, that kind of mental model of fear there. But I think turning into excitement, stepping into power, that seems like a pretty pragmatic approach to me.
Yeah. And then to continue on that metaphor which we discussed, is we put these fears on ourselves. Like again, if I'm on the roof and there's a sphere to fall, that's great fear, you know. I want to keep that fear in place, you know. I want to.
Sure.
However, the fear of, for example, failure, that's indeed what we it's an illusion, really. It's something that we create in our own minds, in our own hearts, and often our limits are is because these are fears we haven't resolved yet. The limits we put on ourselves are often the fears we haven't resolved yet. So I'm talking about the comfort zone.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're comfortable in a certain way, and I have it still, I'm not without fears, you know, just let me make that very clear. You know, I'm not without fears, there's still fears in my life.
There's always fear, there's always
fears.
Yeah.
However, there's always these limits. However, what I think is very important for people and for myself is to change our perspective on it. Instead of like, I don't want to deal with it, or
backing away,
pushing it away,
fear.
you know.
Stepping into.
Yeah, there's a swimming pool there. It's like you have this balloon, this big balloon, and I know I did myself, and I see a lot of people doing it still today. They push this balloon down, like they push it down, you know, and they pretend it's not there.
Sure.
But then when some moments it can just come up and it
and it hits you. Yeah.
And that's, I think, changing the mindset around it, changing the perspective around it. Like, okay, what are the fears? Bring in awareness, and then use these strategies to turn it into excitement, to turn it into power. Is, I think, one of the most important strategies for me, and that I'm sharing.
Well, thank you for sharing. You know, honestly, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being on Hot Takes, and thank you for being the first guest for the in-person kind of part of the series. It's way better doing it in person than doing it over Zoom. Jesus Christ.
I agree.
So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for watching.